If you enjoy the content, I would appreciate you hitting the subscribe button and checking out my socials.
Snappi is an icon in Danish Counter-Strike, IGLing many teams from the ground up in styles that allowed all players to play to their best. Snappi stands at the top of the beat anchor ratings, having the highest value in tier 1 whilst being fundamentally impeccable. Hey, I'm Smirky, and today I want to look at Snappi and how he defends the B site on the CT side of Mirage. So let's begin. Let's have a look on what Snappi does at the start of the round. Typically at the start of the round, Snappi will throw two different variations of an early Molotov. First we're going to look at the deep ones, and to do this, he will stand near this Code 0 graffiti, put his crosshair in the top right corner of the store frame, and run and left click throw. This Molotov is intended to block any Ts coming into apps, but do beware, if the Ts have really good spawns, they could run past it. Once Snappi has thrown the Molotov, he will do some quick jump peeks to spot if any players are rushing. When the Molotov is soon to fade, he will throw a smoke and combine it with a HE. The purpose of this HE and smoke combo is to damage players coming in after the Molotov, and a smoke to deny entry. But what I really like about these pieces of util early at the start of the round is the fact that it blocks entry into the B site until around the 1 minute mark, and by then, his mid players should be able to shut down any early aggression in mid, allowing an extra player to rotate to B to play a setup. And it's also worth noting, once he's thrown his smoke, he will either hold the angle or he will jump spot. Against Virtus Pro we will see something similar, where he will throw the Molotov, denying Norbert's access into apps. Once the molly is soon to fade, he will throw a HE and later a smoke, doing a little bit of chip damage to Norbert and also shutting him out of the site. At this point, he will jump spot apps and later play in a position on site once the smoke has faded. A round I really want to showcase is against 9Z. In this round, Snappi will throw his D4 Molotov, but look what happens. The Molotov will either force players to fall away or stand next to this fridge, where Snappi can wallbang it from Van. Once Snappi's Molotov has faded, he will throw his pieces of util, do a quick jump spot, and he spots DGT coming past his smoke. As a reaction, he will be ready by playing a position. In this round, he chooses to play underneath balcony, but he can move to site or bench. Now that was the first variation of the Molotov you could throw. The other is one where I believe Snappi will use it for anti-rushes, especially on anti-ecos. This Molotov will land a lot quicker, but doesn't go as deep. To do this, Snappi will run through the site, and throws the Molotov through this window and bounces off this wall. At this point, Snappi will throw his traditional smoke and HE combo. On round 5 against 9Z, Falcons are going to be on an empty eco. 9Z are wanting to execute onto the B site early, but due to the utility coming from Snappi, they are not able to do this, and it delays it all the way down to the 1 minute mark, where at this point, his window and short players are close by, ready to assist against 9Z, who had to wait for the smoke. Now let's move over to positions. Snappi will play these positions once his smoke has faded from apps. The first position I want to take a look at is this off angle on Van. In this clip, Snappi is playing on the corner of Van looking into apps, and the intention of this angle is to try and catch T players as they try to make their way out of apps. But do note, the Ts can clear you, however, they will be open to other angles. In this round, Snappi will stay in this position for a very long time and he will be rewarded, as he gets an easy kill onto a player not looking at him. At this point, he changes his position to make it harder for him to get traded and buy time for his teammates to rotate B. From watching Snappi's demos, I think playing underneath balcony is his favourite position, or his most common. Snappi likes to play underneath balcony and will occasionally move out to see if he can catch a player lurking out. And if we look at Electronic's POV, we can see he does think about Van, but as he slowly comes out, he's not paying attention. If Snappi would have slowly peeked out then, he would have got the timing. And again against 9Z, we can see something similar, where Snappi is ready for any players to come out of balcony, occasionally moving out backwards to see if he can catch a player. In this round though, he will have a teammate with him on B, taking the initial contact, making it perfect for him to peek out and to get some surprise kills. And if we look at 9C's POV, we can see they won't clear it as they push out. I would say this is Snappi's second favourite position, and it's on jail. In this angle, he can watch for any players jumping out of window onto the site. And if the T's do jump out of apps, they need to either clear jail or they need to clear get right. In this round though, we will see some action. 9Z are going to execute onto the B bomb site, and if we look at these players jumping out of apps, they're not looking at Snappi's position, allowing him to get a double kill. And because of Snappi starting util in apps, it delayed 9Z for that long that it gives the chance for Madden to double up on the site, killing any players running out of balcony, focus on Snappi. Against Virtus Pro, Snappi will be playing in the same position, but he will have a teammate in Dupree playing Get Right, creating a really deadly crossfire if the T's want to get out from apps. Now, it is worth noting this is a pretty common setup, but it's still really strong. The T's will Molotov Snappi out of position, but as he gets forced out from Molotov, look at the T's. They are not focused on jail whatsoever, and either focused on Dupree or the site, allowing Snappi to frag out. Now at this point, he's going to play this disgusting off angle that will catch T's who are not ready for this position as they come out of apps. A pretty common setup I saw on the B bomb site is to have one player bench and one player boosted. The player on bench will be ready for any players to run out of balcony. Meanwhile, the player on site will kill any players trying to go through or wrap the site. And if needed, Snappi can also peek out to check short. In this round, they won't get any action, but early on in this game, they did. Except the roles will be switched. Snappi on site will kill any players trying to wrap the site, allowing his teammate Dupree to kill players running out of balcony. And because the T's know about Snappi's position, and he wants to help his teammate Dupree, Snappi will peek out to hold for any players running out of balcony. The last position / setup I want to showcase is this one, where Snappi will get boosted onto the site looking for players running out of apps. Meanwhile, his teammate in Dupree will tuck in on balcony. The aim of this is for Snappi to take the initial contact so that the T's are focused on him, allowing Dupree to peek out if he wants to for some kills. Or he can wait for any players running out of balcony. It's up to you. Now, roughly once per game, Snappi will do some aggression inside of apps. So let's take a look at them. Against 9Z, after Snappi's smoke has faded, he traditionally plays a position to play. But in this round, him and some players are going to push apps, creating a totally different pace changer for Falcons. Snappi will make his way down, hugging the right wall. Meanwhile, Surprise will cover him by holding for any players coming out from under. Once Snappi has made his way down into alley, he will make his way all the way into T-spawn, where he catches the bomb. Against Virtus Pro, Snappi again will create a pace changer and will push inside of his smoke, where traditionally he just watches it. Doing this little push can be a fantastic way of catching the tees by surprise, especially for those who are standing next to this fridge. In this round, Snappi will be here for a very long time, but once the tees go for connector control, that will be his cue to push, as he believes Virtus Pro will be focused on taking mid and A instead of worrying about a push from behind. And doing this unexpected push will allow Snappi to net a kill. Now, I wasn't going to add this part into the video as I mainly focus on the player's respective sites, but because it's Mirage and it is often the A site, I want to look at how Snappi reacts when it's an A execute. When it's an A execute, it's a pretty good idea to check apps. In this round, 9Z are pressuring the A site, so Snappi will quickly check apps to ensure there are no lurkers. Once he's confirmed there's no lurkers, he'll make his way all the way to short, where he'll take this angle. From this angle, he can kill players trying to sneak into connector, and he can fight players trying to cross over to jungle. But when Snappi peeks out and takes an angle like this, he cuts the entire site in half, allowing him to get the kill onto Buddha. Against Virtus Pro we can see something similar. The T's are going to execute onto the A site using mid, so Snappi will try to defend connector. In this round he is smoked off, but he will try to spam it, applying heavy pressure to T's coming out connector, later catching a T swinging out onto short. And again we can see Snappi will try the same thing, but this time top connector smoked off. But to help his teammates, he will throw the supportive flashbang behind his teammates, hopefully blinding T's. And I've seen Snappi throw a similar flashbang when he wants to go to CT. When watching Snappi's POV, I think he's quite solid. Snappi's B defense is fundamentally solid, and is something that a beginner or a pro player should be able to replicate to a similar extent. He's safe. Snappi's style is very safe and not aggressive. He doesn't risk his life too much, as his util and positioning prevents him from taking an unfair fight. And lastly, he's stupefying. From the perspective of the T's, he plays a lot of surprising off angles the T's won't be hard clearing, especially during a rush or an execute, giving him an easy first fight.